go ahead and get started. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March Town of Port Royal Council meeting. Our first item of business tonight is a public hearing. So we have a public hearing tonight. Go ahead, and this is to receive public input on the needs assessment for the CDBG project presented by Jesse Dowd.
Hey,
You're welcome. Appreciate it once again.
yes.
Yep, they're bringing it up.
Okay, this is your annual needs assessment for community development block grant funding. This is looking at the town's needs over the next calendar year, starting April 1st.
See if we can get them on our desktop.
Just give us 1 second. We're not getting anything on our desktop monitors. Little technical difficulty. Give us 1 second, please. I checked. Mine's definitely on.
Oh, I think,
Okay, we'll have to look at the screens.
Okay.
We're not ignoring you. If we're looking away, understand why. We're not seeing them on our screens. So we're going to be looking at the screens on the side, okay? Let's go ahead and move forward. Thank you. See if we can't figure it out because we got a number of presentations tonight.
Input signal not found.
Next slide. So, community development block grant funding is HUD funding. As such, fair housing is the law, and if anyone feels like they've been discriminated against in the sale and rental of housing and residential real estate transactions and the provision of brokerage services, they're welcome to contact Low Country Council of Governments. The next slide is the number you can call. Next slide. Okay, this program is been administered through the state of South Carolina. It goes through the state Department of Commerce, and it provides assistance to units of local government in improving economic opportunities and meeting revitalization needs, particularly for persons of low and moderate income. What that means in Beaufort County is on the next slide. Hit it again. Population. So,
We adjust the
two-person
mindset.
household. Two-person household
Yes.
would be $49,600, so total household income would have to be less than that to be LMI qualified. A four-person household would have to be less than $62,000 per year, and that's gross income. Next slide. Okay, this is funding under Title I of the Housing Community Development Act of 1974. Next slide. So the annual allocation, as best we can understand right now, that it has not been finalized, but $20,158,757, that's for the entire 2022 year, and that is for the state. Separating out the entitlements, the larger cities that don't apply for this particular funding, they have their own entitlement funding. Everybody else is applying for this $20 million. So next slide. That $20 million is divided into three broad categories. Community development is the majority of that funding, business development, and regional planning. We'll break down community development into two more slides. Go to the next slide. So our spring round on the left side is community infrastructure. That's $11,353,000. Application requests are due March 14th, so next week. These are water, sewer, drainage, roads projects, and starting with $50,000, the cap is $750,000. But you can ask for a waiver of that cap and apply for up to $1 million each. On the on the right side is community, back one slide, community enrichment, and that's $3 million statewide. And this is our fall round, so our application requests are due in August. This one has a lot more flexibility. We can do brownfield streetscapes, publicly owned facilities, public safety facilities, demolition projects, healthcare facilities, things like that. And again, you're starting at $50,000, up to $500,000. You can ask for a waiver up to $750,000 for streetscapes. And then in the corner we have special projects, $1 million statewide, so there's not a lot of these funded. This is again a fall round project for economic development, public health and safety, energy conservation, historic preservation, parks, trails, and community. So this is a smaller project too, 50,000 to 250, and that 250 is the max. There's no waiver of that maximum. Next slide. And then neighborhood revitalization. On the right here, there's $1 million statewide. This is a concentrated area where you do more than one activity. So sidewalks, lighting, signage, that sort of thing, maybe safety, maybe cameras. But you have to have a neighborhood plan, and that's something that the town has to pay for in advance, to have the whole plan. And we use that plan to come up with a neighborhood project. Again, that's fall round application request in August. On the left, we have Ready to Go, which is something that's recently occurred, and it's only $600,000 statewide. You're really looking at probably a declaration of disaster to make that urgent need. And all of these projects have to be national objective. Look at the bottom corner here, low to moderate income people, prevention or elimination of slum and blight, or urgent community needs. And again, urgent is typically a disaster declaration. And all of these have to have a 10% match requirement, meaning that if you apply for $1 million, that you have to come up with $100,000 of local funding. It doesn't have to be from tax dollars, though. It can be another grant or other funding. And you can ask for a waiver of that if you'd like. Okay. Now, all of that is the majority of the funding. Now, what's left is business development, $2 million statewide. We're looking at newer expanding businesses tied to job creation, economic development activities not tied to job creation, and then newer expanding local businesses that provide essential goods and services in predominantly LMI communities. And then we have our regional planning, which is $500,000, that basically funds the 10 COGS, and then state technical assistance and admin. All right. And there is, for a project to be fundable, it has to score at least 175 points. Those that are in opportunity zones get 10 additional points. But as you see, that's not a big difference. You don't have an opportunity zone, but it doesn't hurt you that. So next slide. Then we have threshold. You can apply for a new grant if you only have 2 open grants, which is where Port Royal stands right now. And business development doesn't really count in your threshold, so you could still apply for that even if you were at the threshold. Your open grants can't be more than 30 months old. Your oldest grant is approaching 2 years, so you're good for the next 6 months or so. If you didn't close either one of those, you could still apply for anyone. So next slide. And you can have no more than one streetscape. Since you have one streetscape, you couldn't apply for that again. No more than one ready to go, and no more than one in the same general area. So that is all for the funding for the local governments. Then the other project we have is the Home Consortium. That is all 21 of the towns in this area and all 4 counties. Next slide. And that is primarily for rehabilitation of substandard housing. It should be owner occupied. It should be stick built with single trailers. The person has to be income qualifying, have homeowners insurance, and they can't be in foreclosure. But that is, so homeowners who are interested in having rehab projects should apply to the COG for funding for this project. And additionally, the council or anybody from the public who wants to have input into their annual action plan for housing needs should contact the COG between now and April 30th. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have a question. Can you back up the slides to the eligible, the last slide that showed the different projects? Going back. Right there, that one. The neighborhood revitalization. The demolition and the clearance of vacant and dilapidated properties. I'm going to stretch a definition and tell me if I'm stretching too far. Dan may already know where I'm going. As you know, the shrimp docks have been something we've been working on for years. We are having to take ownership of the boats because there are a few that are abandoned. Once we own them, would they classify for a grant to help remove and demolish them and get them out of the water
So
before they sink?
well, and it could be a all-around demolition as well. We've not tried that. Generally, they're looking at residential demolition.
Okay.
What we have seen in other communities is if you're doing a residential demolition project, the grant pays for the residential demolition, and the match can go to a demolition of another kind. So in this, we did a factory building that's obviously not residential, so it might work for that.
Man, let's toss that around in our heads after this meeting, just something that I thought about as we were going through this.
That's a good idea.
I mean, what, because at some point, we're going to have ownership of those boats, so it is something that we will own. And then in that case, does it not classify in that area?
So for neighborhood revitalization project, that neighborhood would have to be income qualifying, would be 51% LMI.
Yeah, so it's not going to work that way. Nope, it's not going to work that way.
But
Okay,
but demolition, which is based on slum and blight, not on LMI, is possible.
okay,
So if you had other demolitions in the town, and demolition could be town-wide, or it could be a particular area of town.
okay.
Under the revitalization, that must have a plan.
So a neighborhood plan, and that's something that a consultant could do for you.
I was going to ask, what's the kind of cost on that and time on those? And
So it really depends.
Okay.
Yeah, I could try and give you a price. The COG does them if you want to, but there are also, I'm sure you have engineers that will do them as well.
Very good. Council, other questions?
No, and you said, so with the 10% match, another grant can,
Absolutely. So
could ARPA
because
funds be used for that?
this is federal funding, but it passes through the state, so they say it loses its federalness. So
Okay.
you can match it with other grant opportunities.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
good. Anything else? Van, anything? You good? Jessica, always, thank you very much for the information. We'll follow up a little bit more, and I know the staff's working really hard on the two we have now and getting them moved to the next level.
For sure, we can get started.
Yep,
Now, at some point, at a later date, you guys will rank your needs. I know you guys do that.
Right.
very good.
Thank you,
you.
Jessica. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Ben, can we go ahead and take 5, stop the Facebook and see if we can't fix the monitors? We have a number of presentations tonight, and this is going to be difficult for us. So can you pause the go ahead and get us started. Thank you, everybody, for that time. We solved our technical difficulties, and we'll get back to our agenda. At this point in time, first item is our Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Hayward, could you lead us?
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Owens, please.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity as we assemble in your presence to conduct the business of the town. And we thank you that the decisions that are made on tonight are in the best interest of those whom we serve. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Welcome once again to our March Port Royal Town Council meeting. The next item of business we have is we have two sets of meeting agendas that we need to approve. We have our January 10th special meeting, and we have our regular council meeting of February 12th. They are in our packet. What is the pleasure of council?
I make a motion that we approve the special meeting of January 10th, 2022, and the minutes from the regular council meeting of February 12th, 2022.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any corrections or deletions to those minutes? They do such a good job with them, that's probably because of the recordings. and
Pretty
It's
detailed.
easy to find out what happened. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. So we have a proclamation, and the proclamation tonight is for the 2022 Disability Awareness Month. So I'm going to go ahead and read this into the record. Whereas more than 500,000 South Carolina residents and families are impacted by severe lifelong disabilities, including autism, head injuries, spinal cord injuries, mental retardation, and related disabilities without regard to race, culture, geographic, age, sex, or economic class. And whereas people with lifelong disabilities are productive citizens, neighbors, and family members deserve of respect and opportunity of economic self-sufficiency, independence, and personal growth. And whereas the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs, the Town of Port Royal, the County Disability and Special Needs Board work with families to provide services that promote independence and exclusion. And whereas we owe a special debt of gratitude to the caregivers who selfishly provide physical, emotional, and spiritual support to our residents with disabilities and special needs. And whereas the 2021 observance of Disability Awareness Month celebrates the successful partnership between the people with and without disabilities as a well and increasing involvement of people with disabilities in education, employment, and community activities. Now therefore, I, Joe DeVito, Mayor of the Town of Port Royal of South Carolina, do hereby proclaim March 21 as Disability Awareness Month in the Town of Port Royal, and encourage all of our citizens to work together to promote and increase opportunities for people with disabilities, to recognize the many contributions made by people with disabilities to our community, and to honor the dedication of the caregivers who bring support and hope to these fellow citizens. Dated this 9th day of March 2022. They're unable here tonight to accept this. We will sign this and get that to them. Thank you, everybody. The next item is we have the list of presentations. First one is Low Country Made Market. Katie?
Good evening, council members. Thank you for having me. My name is Katie Silva. I am the founder and owner of Low Country Made. We are the premier pop-up market agency currently operating in Bluffton. I want to thank you for the approval to move forward with our twice-monthly artisan market held at Live Oaks Park. As it has been a couple months since the last town council meeting where Shannon Gonzalez spoke on our behalf, I want to elaborate a bit more on the details of the market series, where we are at, and ultimately voice our intentions here in Port Royal for those that may not know. First of all, Low Country Made exists to partner with small local businesses and help them grow through our pop-up artisan markets and events. We collaborate with local government and brick and mortar businesses to make these markets beneficial to the surrounding businesses and a reflection of the communities they are in. We vet our makers to ensure the highest quality market possible. Our two big eligibility requirements are must be a local Low Country business and hold a South Carolina retail license. Among other things, we also take into account social media presence, branding, and quality of craft. Low Country Made works with a public relations firm to promote our markets to local media. We are proud to have a reputation of well-attended events, and Low Country Made markets have become a destination for locals and tourists alike. The past 2 years, we have been largely in Bluffton. We're excited to bring Low Country Made north of the Broad, as many of our makers are based here in Port Royal and Beaufort. The Low Country Made Port Royal Artisan Market kicks off Saturday, March 26th, and continues on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays throughout the year. The market will host approximately 30 to 40 businesses, food trucks, and live music. Applications are currently open on our website. For small business owners that need help getting properly licensed, or if you aren't sure that you are, we want to offer the help of Port Royal business owner Shannon Gonzalez of Toot Sweet Macaroons. She is well versed in state and local licensing requirements for retail and for food and beverage. So our market sponsors are Amidst the Elders and Barbers of the Low Country. We do have room for one more, and we would love for them to be in the immediate vicinity of Live Oaks Park. So feel free to reach out to me if you're interested. We also have reserved 3 booths for any brick and mortar business in the vicinity of Live Oaks Park to alternate popping up at our markets at no cost to them. Businesses that have joined us in the past have found this to be incredibly beneficial as a way to engage with the community and increase their visibility. We welcome any downtown Port Royal business to reach out and reserve their date. We'd love to have you. So it's been a pleasure collaborating with the town of Port Royal, and we have worked hard to ensure a beneficial, safe, and successful market series. Our goals are aligned with the town's mission, and we seek to promote small local business and bring economic growth to the town of Port Royal in this fun, community-oriented way. So we're beyond excited for market season and want to express our intent to keep this line of communication open. And yeah, we welcome collaboration, questions, concerns. We want this to be a reflection of Port Royal and the creative talent that you have here, as well as the surrounding area of the Low Country. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
You can talk a little bit more. You said there's 3 locations that you're, explain that a little bit more, what you're looking for from the residents, for the local businesses.
Yeah, so we have, we like to anchor each, wherever we are, wherever the market is, with 3 sponsors. So it's a chance for non-retail businesses, well, it can be retail too. It's a chance for home-based businesses to get involved and to promote the shop small agenda and to get in front of the community.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Council, questions? We've got the layout in front of us of how they're laying it out around the tennis courts.
This is open to
Yep.
your input.
Where is the oyster shed from there?
So it's right in this area right here.
So on the 2nd and 4th Saturday of each month, if you can't, there's no kind of event can go on down there except this?
They'll be shutting down by 2, so we'll be able to let birthday parties afterwards show up, and so it would be a later party, but they'll still be able to rent the park for events.
How about, we just had a large event down there this past weekend. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but Charities was down there. How does that impact this? How do those, there are a lot of large events down there to go on.
They're the first week of March, so that wouldn't impact, because they'll be the 2nd and 4th, and we'll be communicating with schedules early on,
Okay.
so I can coordinate with what we have on our books as well as.
So there could be maybe a little bit of wiggle room,
Correct.
work collaborating and work with each other to accommodate, because I think it's a great program. There are a lot of great things that go on down there already. I just want to make sure that those people don't feel like they're being slighted. So,
And we are 9 a.m. to 1, so hopefully that early hour will accommodate for the second half of the day for more events too.
we do 5Ks and 10Ks down there a lot.
Yeah, that is
And those
pretty
started, 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's part of the race course right there.
Okay.
It starts right there, and we got a 5K and we got a 10K. And I bet we have, how many in the town? 5?
Probably, yeah, yeah.
So we just have to look at stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
The A, B, and C, those are your sponsors?
Food trucks and sponsors.
Oh, okay.
So our sponsors include mobile, like they have a mobile shop or a mobile barber shop, and then food trucks will go there too in the parallel parking.
And my reason for asking that also, just hypothetically, if there was at some point a request for the use that would conflict with your timing and so forth, and depending on the size of the group that may request, it looks like, at least those 3 units can shift back, and we still can we can have some shared space if we ever encounter
Yeah.
something of that nature.
Why wouldn't you pull it closer to Paris Avenue? That's where all the cars come down anyway. Why wouldn't it be out there where people could see it? I'm just throwing that out there.
Well,
Instead of behind it, because here, to me, it's like hidden behind the school and the tennis
well,
court.
this is where a lot of the power is.
Utility.
A lot of facilities there that they can
For vendors.
use. And there will be signage to bring folks down to the pavilion, or towards London Avenue. But we do have actually the first event that they will be having March 26th. There is a party going on, and we were able to work out where the party will be under the pavilion, and they'll be able to use. the
As I just
space.
indicated, it's the
So
shift back,
it
so
was
that's
able to work.
That's
Very
good.
good.
We are
Good call.
concerned, the park works out well because we'll have a lot of foot traffic. So we want to avoid shutting down streets, so it keeps people safe and it opens up parking. A lot of our crowd comes from Bluffton and Hilton Head and Savannah, so we're really looking forward to bringing those people here as a destination to bring that traffic to Port Royal. So if they're following us on Instagram and Facebook, they're going to, be aware of this location, and like Brooke said, we'll have signs.
Another alternative also, where they had those 20-some-odd washrooms, porta potties last week. That's our
field
space.
over, yeah.
So can that space be utilized for anything
I
else?
believe that is the school's.
That's a school.
property.
They made that exception because of that event. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I know we've talked about this before, but there's nothing on here that would be at, we've got a great farmer's market. I don't want to screw that up. There's nothing there. Oh, this is at here and at the farmer's market. They're
So
kind of
we
exclusive.
do not carry produce.
Okay.
We are artisans specifically. We started in Bluffton because our farmer's market didn't accept artisans, so there was a huge gap in, these people being able to promote themselves. So that's when we started 2 years ago out of that need, as well as the COVID one. But we work well with the Bluffton Farmers Market. They're on Thursdays. Like I said, they're largely groceries and produce, and our local farmers. So we don't carry produce.
Have you touch base with Kit down there, and we give you a phone number and just make sure we're all playing nicely with each other, so there's no rub.
Well, it's an opportunity. Nobody, you don't go to the farmer's market for 3 hours.
Right.
So we'd love for you to go to the farmer's market for 45 minutes and come.
Then come over here, exactly.
Spend some more time in our town.
Yep.
I'd also like to remind council, when I was pitching this originally, we were looking at a time from like 12 to 4 in the afternoon. But when speaking with Brooke and Noah in detail for over several weeks, the 9 to 1 time slot fit better for a couple of reasons. One, we do have people, and in fact, I was just down at a market in Bluffton, and many people, when I was telling them where I'm at in Port Royal, like, oh, I go to the farmer's market all the time. So we get those people coming into the farmer's market, and so they're not making 2 trips or staying a lot longer and just being agitated. So the time works well for that, as well as the concerns for parties happening. People probably aren't gonna wanna do something early in the morning where events are already happening at the farmer's market, they're scheduling their stuff. So we're accommodating those requests. On top of that, the dates that we have scheduled, we've looked at the town's calendar, and pretty much all of them except for one had no conflict with it too. So any additional conflicts that do arise, it'll be after all of this was kind of set in stone with Brooke and Noah in the past too.
And thank y'all for, because like you said, it has changed a lot from when you first presented, so I appreciate you kept getting with Brooke and working out the kinks and working out the issues and coming to a great
Absolutely.
solution.
So it looks like it's
so.
going to be a great
Yeah,
turnout so far, so that's great.
25, signed up for the first one.
I'm excited
Yeah.
whenever
We
we have
wanna help
traffic
all
coming
the-
into Port Royal.
Yeah.
Right, and we are excited at if anything, the ease of parking, because that was always kind of been a complaint. And we were looking at another location north of the Broad, but parking up there would just be a little bit more difficult. So us putting it where we're having it at Lions Park provides that not only parking for our vendors and for the food trucks, but for customers and coming in down. And if anything, we're deep down on Paris Avenue too, so they're like, oh, what's this over here, Sands Beach? We've got the beer garden going on too. And in the past, we've had businesses where we've been at modify their hours appropriately, so they're benefiting from that additional foot traffic. The concern about being on Paris Avenue, again, is we're getting people mostly from Bluffton coming in, not knowing the area, not knowing where to park. We wouldn't want them blocking off businesses and having that agitation. So being offset and providing the signs to navigate them towards it would eliminate that possibility.
I think you'll have a lot more room back there in the back like that.
Yeah. When you said you looked up somewhere else up there, was that still in Port Royal or?
No.
Well, then, yeah, you don't want to go.
No, right.
Well, I was glad to see that we are gonna have you're gonna have a booth there.
Oh, yeah, so if anything, I'm just the last Saturdays, but I'll be there modifying or monitoring it as well if Katie's not able to participate.
That's great.
So, and if anything, I wanted to note too, with Low Country Made, I've been successful because of the markets that Katie established. And we've had 3 other businesses, I think, within the last year open up a shop. So I'm the only one in Port Royal, but we have a couple in Bluffton, one in, I don't know if they're in Hilton Head technically, but still this market series has proven beneficial to so many makers in our Low Country area that with all the new developments that's happening in Port Royal, with real estate coming, with all the infrastructure changes that we're doing down here, bringing people up here to look at Port Royal as not only an investment opportunity, but maybe a place to put permanent foothold into establishing their own business too.
That's great.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for
Thank you.
choosing Port
Thank you.
Royal.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Brooke, I assume that if somebody comes in and the park's busy, we do offer them some of our other parks. Like John Parker Park is a great park to have a birthday party at. And if we need to look at doing adding some amenities to that so that it matches what's here, so that we have both of these facilities easily available for that kind of stuff. Just something else we need to do.
You have the pit there
Yep,
as well.
yep, we got
exactly,
the
in
pit there,
basketball
we
court,
got-
so.
We've got stuff there. If we need to do a gazebo or something over there, maybe then that's something we think about as adding to that area, or maybe that fits into something Jessica was talking about earlier.
As an
today
enhancement.
For that area as well. So appreciate that. Thank you very much. We look
Thank
forward to
you.
it.
Good luck.
We look forward to the
And
first
we are
first
going
one.
to step out. I am
No.
celebrating a birthday today.
Happy
so
birthday.
Happy
Katie's
birthday.
up in my neck of the woods, so I'm gonna go show her some places.
There
So
you go.
thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you so
Enjoy.
much. Enjoy the time. So our next presentation is Kelly Laird from Dominion Energy, EnergyWise Dominion Energy.
Yes, hello, my name's Kelly Laird, and I'm the Energy Ambassador for Dominion Energy. Thank you for inviting us today. And also I have Christy Ryan, and she'll take over. She is your area account manager for the Low Country area. So anything that you look at in depth, you always have her here for a hands-on approach. And so what our job is we represent Dominion Energy for our energy efficiency incentives. These are not grants. These are applications that you fill out for money that will be awarded as long as you put in for the pre-approval. So this is your money that's pretty much guaranteed, okay? So if you improve buildings, infrastructure, or if you put in, if you're about 15% above the code for new construction, okay? And if you want me to tell you, okay? So we're gonna tell you all about our team. We're gonna go over our program. We have a limited time offer right now that we're offering, and we're gonna give you some examples that the city of Charleston has done and how it has influenced them, and that is our customer success. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about the measure incentive types that we offer and then the application process. And Christy is always here to guide you through that, so don't feel overwhelmed. And we do have a meeting tomorrow morning to kind of get into that a little bit deeper dive, okay?
Okay.
And so we work for ICF. We are a global consulting and technology services company. We're headquartered out of Fairfax, Virginia, and we do a little bit of everything when it comes to government, energy improvements, disaster relief, all kinds of different work. And Dominion Energy is we are almost like a leg of them. We've been working with them since 2010, and we do represent them. And so our program team is made up of all the folks that you see here. Up in the left-hand corner, you'll see Jesse Herbal. He's our program manager. In the very center, you'll see Christy Ryan, and she focuses on Beaufort Low Country. And Mary Frobert works in the Charleston Low Country area. Mary also supports our team if we need some more engineering type projects. And you see Devin Rowan, he's our technical specialist. He is an engineer, so he will help guide you through anything that you need help with, so don't ever be scared. And I am the Energy Ambassador, so I do outreach and awareness work to find folks that are making these changes and hand those over to the team to help support the team. And then this is just everybody's information. You can call us, you can email us. We're all available. We all work together and know each other. So when one person's busy, the other one's available, okay? And so what we want to do is we want to tell you like where your government is typically using a lot of energy. And in the local governments, we find that HVAC is a huge place. You're probably replacing that. You might be doing building tune-ups. You might be improving ductwork. You might be doing all together. And then, of course, your lighting. And then your other, which is like your motors, your air compressors, anything that uses energy like that. That's going to be your top 3 places in local government. And EnergyWise for your business program overview. EnergyWise is our name, even though we're Dominion Energy's incentive. So it can get confusing, and we want to like make that clear when you see. So we are the EnergyWise program, and we offer financial incentives to reduce upfront cost of energy efficiency improvements. This program is a win-win. So we're going to help you with the cost of your project, but you're also going to be able to see how much energy you would save, which is going to influence your overall bottom line. Okay, and we offer technical assistance. We help to guide you through the process. That is why as an incentive, it is important to have us involved before you have an invoice, so we can help you. Once you if you put something out for bid, then you may change a product. We just can't. Once the money is pre-approved, that's the maximum amount that you can get. Okay, so it could go down, but it can't go over that amount. Okay, and then. We are a flexible program in South Carolina, so any contractor can use us. So you can do energy performance, you can do local contractors, you can do it internally. If you've got a police department that's changing out the lights, then that's fine, and you can include your labor on the cost for that as well. And participating customer business ops, there's any business that has a business account can get this money, utilize this money. But today we are talking about municipalities. And then financial incentives. I just like this slide because it shows you that this influences your bottom line, so it's a win-win situation. And in the city of Charleston, what we have seen already, according to the energy performance contract information, is that there's already been a $16.8 million cost savings for the energy contract performance. Energy performance contract, excuse me. And they're expecting 18.1 estimated cost avoidance over 15 years. So it can be very substantial to your bottom line, so you can clear up cost and then be able to do other projects. And can we go to the next slide? One of my favorite projects is this beautiful stadium, and if you've been to the stadium in Charleston, you'll know that the lights are pretty magnificent there. And that incentive was $54,954 that they received. This incentive is not a reduction on your bill. This is a check that can come back to you, or you can allow your contractor to take a discount. So, if you know what you're going to do, we can go ahead and work through it, and you'll know what's going to happen, and you can decide how you'll take that. And then a very, very common project would be an HVAC chiller. And this particular project received an incentive of $13,747. And now, you want to come up and do the incentive increase? So we'll take it from here. We like to keep it interesting.
Okay. Hey guys, thank you for having us here tonight. I'm going to take a little deeper dive into the financial aspects of it and talk about the measures. As you can see, starting February 2021, we've adjusted the incentive cap. So it's $100,000 per program per tax idea per program year. So you can even get up to $400,000 per program year, just to give you some sort of dynamic on that. Just got to go to the next slide. So this is a limited time offer. We started and we're trying to get the word out. not just for you guys, but everybody who has a business in the Port Royal area. We want everybody to know about this. Limited time offer. It's an early bird special where we're offering an additional 20% incentive. It's not counted towards 100,000, so it could be over that. So it's an additional 20% of applications, and you must submit it between January 3rd through March 31st, 2022. Now, it doesn't mean you have to have it done by then, like a lighting upgrade or whatever. As long as the contract or the job is done by October 31st, there's the 20% in addition to the incentive itself. Go to the next slide, please. Now, here's where it's available to non-residential electric customers. You need to be in the Dominion Energy territory, Dominion Energy customer. There are certain industrial and large commercial customers that have chosen to opt out of the program. If they decide they want to opt in and participate in the incentive program, well, they will need to apply in order to be able to receive the incentive. In the blue, it says is very important. Written pre-approval is required prior to ordering, purchasing, or installing the equipment for most applications. What I mean by that is there may be, let's say you have an HVAC, it's out and you have to have it replaced. That happens. As long as it's less than $5,000, then you can go ahead. You don't have to have it pre-approved. Wait for the, everything, for us to send you the letter to get it pre-approved. You can go ahead and order it, just as long as we get the invoice within the 60 days. So we try to accommodate those last-minute change-outs. Once once you do receive the pre-approved and we send out the letter, then for retrofit application, you have about 180 days for the job to be done, and for new construction, 1 year. We understand the situation that it may take longer than a year for a new job, for a new construction to be completed. That's fine, just let us know. Just give us a call. Chris, we need a little extra time. We're waiting for the parts to come in. That's totally fine, just inform us. Go ahead, please. So here's where we're talking about a little, what type of incentives are you gonna get? We have lighting, HVAC, food, services, high efficiency equipment, and custom. Lighting, it applies if you're having a retrofit, new construction, or major renovation. Major renovations, basically, you're gutting everything, the wire, everything, and you have to have a new lighting, comm check, and all that kind of stuff. That would be a major renovation. For HVAC, unitary, chiller replacements, VFDs, window films, cool roofs, there's an incentive for that. And of course, the cooking equipment, commercial clothes washing, refrigeration, there's an incentive there. And anything else that's left over is pretty much may fall in a custom. If it's a little bit more of a complex project, chiller plant optimization or energy management system replacement, agricultural, technical assistance, building tune-ups, whole building solutions, that may fall into the custom. So we always ask, just if you're not sure if there is a project or if this particular project falls into an incentive, ask us. We'll find out. We'll let you know. Go ahead, please. So the cool roof and the window film were they were just recently added to the prescriptive measure program. Cool roofs, it will qualify 10 cents per square foot. And the roofing project must be certified through Energy Star, and the roof must be located on an air-conditioned space. So if it's an unconditioned warehouse, doesn't apply. The window film is, the incentive is $1 per square foot, and the SHGC, which is solar heat gain coefficient of 0.24 or less, that's a requirement, and it must cover the entire window. The north-facing windows are not eligible, and it only applies to existing window retrofits. But those are our two latest ones that we just recently added. Thank you, please. Custom. It's a little bit more complex, but we do offer technical, building tune-up, whole building solutions in general. The main thing is bottom line, contact us before you get started. We have our team of engineers. You've got your team of your engineers. If you have something that's complex, let us know so we can go ahead and talk about it early on. The sooner we know about the project, the sooner we can get all the details and see if it would qualify for an incentive. Please. So the technical services, this is limited, the incentives offered on a limited basis, but new construction, major renovation projects, existing replacements, equipment replacements, upgrades, things like that. We will co-fund of approved engineering studies, okay? And how that works is it would be 50% of the cost up to $10,000 that will help determine energy savings for projects to be submitted under a custom program. That's why getting engineers and people, the technical people involved, is what we would like to have that conversation with. Okay, and these are the building tune-up is kind of like it's a fine-tuning of your equipment at optimum efficiency. It's not talking about replacing your equipment, it's talking about equipment performance. Really focus on what you have and just making sure it's at its optimal level. I'm getting thirsty, sorry. And those are the different type measures, as you can see there. I don't need to cover that, but it just tells you those are the things that we go ahead, please. You would need to have an operating energy management system, and most eligible customers are eligible except unconditioned storage or warehouse facilities. How it kind of works is like a different phase. It will cover up to 75% of the cost assessment. It does cap at 15 cents per square foot. On the first phase, if there's no measures identified, then it'll still cover up to 5 cents per square foot for the assessment. The customer must make a commitment. You gotta have the buy-in. You need to make the commitment to implement the identified low-cost measures with a payback of less than 1.5 years. And it's up to 10 cents per square foot to implement low-cost measures with payback of less than 1.5 years. So you can actually, it's like if you go from, when we're saying from the 5 for the assessment, 5 cents per square foot for the assessment, and another 10 if you actually implement it, so 15 cents per square foot. Please. Whole building, this is really top down all the way through. You're really gonna replace the cool roof, you're gonna put in window film, you're putting in high efficiency LED, HVAC, you're putting in everything from the entire building. So it's kind of like a holistic whole building approach, a strategy. Go ahead, please. It does require customers with facilities greater than 75,000 square feet. And the energy model, it needs to show energy savings at least 10% better than the ASHRAE 90.1 2007. And it's just a little bit more of that. Let's see. Yeah, the certain exceptions may apply if there are state or federal mandates that already require a building to exceed the ASHRAE of 90.1 2007, at least 10%. Go ahead, please. And as you can see, with a whole building, it tells you the required documents that we would need for that. I try to make it simple and just say, you know what, if you have a project that may qualify as a whole building, just give us the whole set of plans. Because the whole set's going to give you electrical, it's going to give you the mechanical, we're going to know all of that. So it kind of helps to go with that, have our engineers involved, and they can look at everything, and then you can just basically see the percentage improvement over the code and how the incentives is calculated, anywhere from 15 cents to 30 cents per kWh watts produced. Please. So this is where I kind of come in also, is how to apply. And I'd like to, first of all, to get started, we just need to know about the project as soon as possible. Let us know everything about it. Submit the application. There's, you submit it through the website, send it the email. You get a pre-approval. It'll tell you how much it's going to be, the estimated incentive. Then you can go ahead and order, purchase, install your equipment when the job is done. Sign the letter, send me the final invoice, and then you'll receive the incentive check. And it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get it. What I like to do, I know when customers, first of all, if they're doing it for the first time, not sure what do I do, where do I go, just let me know when you have the documents ready, your W-9, who's going to get the incentive check, where's it going to go, all of that. Just set up a call, or I'll come out here, and we'll just go through the application portal step by step. I'll show you exactly what we do. Go ahead, please. You'll see there's some folders. I think that Kelly went ahead and distributed. It's basically right there. And it tells you pretty much, you know, the overview of the program, what the incentives are, and any kind of frequently asked questions. Also, you've got the Dominion Energy website down at the bottom, and it tells you can actually go to the Dominion, and it'll tell you exactly what we just mentioned here tonight. And then just some extra tips and tip sheets that's also on the website. Any questions?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Good presentation, definitely.
Thank you. We try to get a whole lot of the slides into a short amount of time, but I appreciate that.
Right.
And definitely for something of the county or a larger municipality, but of course, we have no structure that's 75,000 square feet in this area.
No, I know,
qualifies.
and I wasn't sure if we'll leave that in, but yes, I
And,
understand.
but I mean, what types of incentives are available for establishments of our size?
Okay, let's just say you need to redo the whole lighting in here, you know, to LED. So it's paid at 35 cents per watt reduced. Most of the customers, a lot of them will go ahead and take advantage of the lighting. It's kind of like the low-hanging fruit. So I always find that that's the easiest one, but that's where you can get a
And that's a
good-
common one also. That's
the
what I did
common
in my
one, yes.
former job, changed all the lights out to LEDs. And
Yes.
so, you know.
So, you would still take advantage of the lighting if you have a chiller and you're gonna replacing it, it's, end of the year life or whatever, let us know. There could be incentive. Any kind of controls, let us know. I always look at, just ask us, if like, hey, Chris, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you think there may be an incentive? Well, let's take a look at it, see what you got. And then, you just tell us, and then we can kind of get an idea if you're building a new construction.
What about installing solar panels on the roof here?
That would be actually handled through Dominion themselves.
Let's try and van and save some money.
I hear that a lot. Solar panels and the charging stations for electric cars.
How about lighting on the bridge?
If it's your lighting, then it would qualify under a custom program.
Under
It's not on
exterior.
that, right?
And DOT.
We've already done the lights on the strictly.
Well, I was
Dominion,
thinking
yeah.
about the other bridge that goes to Ladies Island.
Yeah.
There's no.
No lights on that
No
bridge.
lighting on that bridge.
That I would love to see happen.
But not just for the government, obviously, replacing any of that, but just to let your customers know.
Let the businesses know.
Your businesses know.
Yeah, that's the other
And
piece.
We were talking
help
about,
them out,
Yeah, 'cause-
so they can get some money back.
Right.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the air chillers and so forth. I mean, outside of the medical facilities that we have, they were be good candidates. But I think that's probably the only thing that we have in the grocery store.
Well, Van, what about all the work that's happening at the police station? Is there some projects there that might qualify with the upfit?
Potentially, yeah.
And relighting? That's the one, because we've got a project that we're doing to upfit the police station, do some things there.
We would like to talk to you about that,
That would be,
yes.
I know you're meeting in the morning, and that would be one I would say we definitely, talk to them about and see what can happen.
Or someone was renovating a large building in downtown Port Royal.
Yeah.
Do you mind going to the next screen? That's just like, and then this is something I really think is really interesting, because to me, I want people to see exactly, well, what am I looking at? You gave me a bunch of slides, but what am I looking at? I like this. This is just an example. So it's a 6-story commercial building in South Carolina, in Columbia, and they just changed their HVAC controls. So what's their savings? 460,000 kWh per year. The project cost them $177,000. Their incentive was $88,500. See the numbers. You got to see the numbers. There's that check. And then their estimated cost savings, $24,500 per year. Hit the next one after that. No, that's next one. I like this one also. Again, it's a 3-story. They changed out the LED lighting and occupancy sensors. You can see how much they saved per year, how much the project cost. Now, the incentive paid $4,678, but what I liked about this is they took that check and they went ahead and refreshed the buildings in the common area. So they took the check that they got and they used it to something else. And it's just paying it forward to what else can we do? We've got this check. Let's do another building. Let's beautify this. do something to the downtown. So I just wanted to point that out, just to kind of give you a big scope of what the incentive, it's there, just help, what is it? Help me help you. That's what I want to do. So, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate the information.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
Think about some businesses.
Think about the hospital out there at Low Country.
Yeah. What about Midtown? The Midtown Medical Center?
Yeah,
New
Low Country.
construction,
I thought that was her vision of Port Royal in 5 years when I saw that first
Right,
picture.
there you go.
That first slide.
Noah?
All right. So I am in front of you all tonight to discuss somewhat of a new use in the town. When we first started exploring it, I was under the impression that we would be looking at potentially adding a use to the zoning code. What we're looking at now, based on the definition and the standards for restaurants under the land use definitions, I think that this use actually falls under that. So where we're going tonight is more of an informational presentation.
Oh, okay.
In order to just let you know, if this is proposed in the town, this is kind of the type of thing that you'd be looking at. Okay, so we're talking about food truck parks here. They have increased in popularity tenfold across the country recently. There are several examples regionally, West Coast, Southwest, Midwest, Northeast, they're everywhere right now. So what are food truck parks? They are permanent food truck centers. They can include seating, restrooms, games and entertainment, and live music. That could be part indoor, outdoor with permanent shade structures, stages, seating and facilities indoors. And I'll show you a little bit of the differences there, depending on what the facility actually is. The key point with food truck parks is that they're family friendly. They're for everybody. They're for the whole community. So whether you are a businessman walking across the street to grab lunch, you're a couple with kids and you would like to sit at a picnic table and have a food and a beverage and let your kids play with whatever's out in the fenced-in yard. It's a place to eat and drink and play for all ages, all abilities. And one of the other major points here is that specifically with the folks that are interested in this use in the town, they're interested in seeking out cuisines, flavors, things that don't exist in brick and mortar in the town already. So, bring a diversity of cultures and flavors to the town. Next one, please, Brooke. So some of the benefits of the food truck park, and I guess before I keep going, just the photos on each of these slides are just as important as the words that I'm saying to get an understanding of the scope of what you can see with this kind of development. But anyway, so some of the benefits: facilitating multiple entrepreneurs. So if we were looking at 5 to 7 slots for food trucks within a food truck park, we're looking at an operator who is able to start running their business. And then we've got 5 to 7 potentially startup or new chefs or food businesses given that ability to get their feet on the ground and start making moves in the community.
And Noah, in that scenario, the park would have to have a license and each one of the trucks would have to have a license?
Correct, yeah.
Correct. So
I'll get there, but.
Okay, sorry, didn't mean to jump ahead.
This is universal stuff.
Right, didn't mean to jump ahead, go ahead.
That's okay. Keeping and attracting office space tenants, and that could branch out into other, but I just said office, but if you think about town center and the medical facility and, the places, the amount of people that have full office space in the town, just their employees knowing I can walk down the block and get one of 5 different foods from a food truck on my lunch break today and sit with my coworkers or meet my wife for lunch or whatever it is. Those kinds of things are attractive to people who want to work in the town and people who want to hold tenancy and office spaces in the area. Social and community gathering place, I touched on this briefly, but if you think of it, you think of the beer garden. It's a place where you might see a neighbor. If you were in a restaurant seated with your family, you might say hi to your neighbor, but you may not sit and talk to your neighbor. You know, so this is the kind of place where you might see someone you know, get into a conversation. There's just kind of a host of different opportunities with this, and we've seen that happen with the beer garden over the last couple of years as well. Generating tax revenue, you know, one of the things that we look at with food trucks is that they're not, you know, there are property taxes involved there that they are not paying, but there's a host of other revenue that's coming from this type of development, as well as the property tax will be paid by the operator of the business and the owner of the property. It also gives us an opportunity to keep more money local. So whether there are employees of the food trucks, there are folks who would normally bring a lunch or drive somewhere to get food or whatever it is. It could be employees, it could be patrons, but you know, they're putting their money towards local businesses and putting it back into the town. And I added this last benefit. Councilman Owens mentioned, you know, people seek these food trucks out. They want to find these food trucks. They follow them on social media. It's a thing that people love. And so attracting the culturally curious, people will follow this kind of food truck park and say, okay, what trucks are coming today? I want to get down there while, I won't say names because I don't know who would be operating in the food truck park, but you know, it's just another thing that could draw people to the town to stop for lunch, stop for an early dinner, whatever it is. Come see music in the evening, that sort of thing.
Well, the one at the Sands Beach sure was packed this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
So Mayor, this is where you were leading toward. Food truck parks are subject to all of the same licensing, code requirements, and design review that any other development would be subject to in the town. So you'll be looking, you know, we'll be looking for state and town business, or state licensing and town business licensing for the vendors. The owner and operator of the park would also be subject to town business license. And then the development of the food truck park would be subject to building code regulations, fire code regulations, and annual or biannual inspections, whatever the timing is for that. And we would be doing design review and engineering review, as well as any zoning code regulations that apply to a typical restaurant, we would be looking at for this use as well. So there's no lack of regulation already in place for this. Just to show you guys a couple examples of where this has existed in the area recently. I actually forget which one this is, so I'll skip to the next one. This is a food truck park that was started in Bluffton during the height of the COVID pandemic. This is an example of a very undeveloped approach to this. You know, it was basically a gravel parking area with food trucks surrounding, barrels and stools for tables and seating and that sort of thing. But it did attract a good number of people most days. Their Facebook, from what I saw, seemed to have a lot of traction. And then on the other side of things, we can go to the next one. This is an existing food truck park in Savannah, Starland Yard. It's behind Two Tides Brewery. This is kind of the built-up end of this, and so not necessarily where we would be going. Obviously, if you look closely, there's recycled shipping containers and such here, which is not something we would be approving in the town. But just gives you a feel for how built up this can be. You know, they have indoor facilities. There's some seating up there on that second floor as well, overlooking the food truck park. Some nice landscaping and seating areas. So it can be that well-established look to it.
Yeah, there's one in Greenville.
Yeah.
Gather GBL. That one as well is almost more so than this. It almost feels like you're walking into a small stadium when you go into it. And then this is multiple pictures of a park in Oregon called General Duffy's, and the reason that I included this is because folks who are interested in this, in starting a food truck park in the town, the wife, Bonnie Gordon, was the manager of this food truck park in Redmond, Oregon. So this includes outdoor area. You can see There's an indoor space that's used both as kind of a tap house with a small stage, and then even that top right, I think, is a wedding reception of some sort. So there's opportunities there for a multitude of different things to go on within this. And then lastly, I just wanted to walk you through a little bit of what it might look like here. So this is coming directly from the folks who'd like to develop this. They're looking at about five concrete pads and trucks. So somewhere from 5 to 7, I think, would be their target. Starting out, they'd want to look at landscaping and fencing, get that feeling of this is the space that this happens in, so that, you know, we can get to that point where somebody can sit down at a picnic table and send their kids over to throw the cornhole or whatever it is. Include both car and golf cart parking. And then specifically looking at the property that is targeted for this, which is behind Parker's and behind Black Dog, where the barbershop currently is. The barbershop is still active. And they have no intentions of, if there were a sale of this property, to boot anybody out of where they're currently operating their business. So, you know, when the lease ended, or you know, once there was agreed upon date to vacate, they would use that existing structure to transition it into that tap house feel that you saw on those previous slides. And just to add, I'd love if that we could figure out how to get that barbershop to find another space in town as well.
Right. Hey, he might be profitable over there in a little corner also.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, farther down the line, once it's established and there are trucks coming in every day, adding a screen porch and some additional outdoor seating to the existing structure, building an outdoor stage for entertainment. So those are the steps that they'd like to take to get this to being an established community gathering place. So that's what I have for you tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
So there's a person of interest, because I was saying, I had written a note here, the ideal location for that would be exactly where you said.
Yeah.
But, not displacing the barber also, but, you know, that could even be a potential opportunity for that individual as well. But, that's a 1 acre lot, and so I guess 1 acre is pretty, it looks, well, they have a lot of trees there. How would you get 5 pads and trucks stationed in that small area with all those trees?
Well, without any, I haven't discussed any conceptual layouts for what this would look like with them. You know, there's a ton of that. I believe the property extends from the Paris Avenue side through back
Through the west,
to
yes,
the barbershop.
Reservation efforts would probably be easier because of the lack of really fixed locations in terms of a footprint of a restaurant. You
Right.
can move the building.
So really what we're looking at is we can tweak where a slab would be.
Where a slab would be, right, yeah.
Rather than you take a tree down.
Then, of course-
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the tree canopy back there actually aids.
That's
It
the
aids in
most-
what you're doing.
That's an
Yeah,
ideal
exactly.
location that I was thinking also, but this other spot
Yeah.
is not for sale anywhere, but right there in the
Right.
corner, Edinburgh and West Paris.
Yeah.
That would be a good location, too.
Well, I mean, this has been great information. It really has, and I'm glad that you were able to take the time and really define, you know, what code does it fit under?
Yeah.
Because we were back and forth on whether they have to be approved separately and this, and now we know exactly what that is.
I think it gets kind of stodgy
I just,
to
yeah,
get
to
into
me, yeah,
adding a new use for this.
you
So.
know, and I love brick and mortar
So what was the
restaurants,
code?
but this is good.
So this actually fits under a regular restaurant,
Restaurant.
cafe, coffee shop use. That definition actually includes mobile vendors. So that's what the
Interesting.
route we'll take
That's
with
a
it.
great shaded location. I mean, that would.
There's a lot of traffic in that
Question?
area. so-
No, but I
People going to
think
the
someone,
cypress?
can the audience ask? I think there was a question from someone in the audience or a comment.
I wanted to ask you, so you asked how you use the incentives, so like if you were adding lighting outside, or if you're doing something that's low efficiency, then you could qualify, and we can do like the pre-approval prior to the construction, so just to kind of let you all know that. And they do have something similar to this in Florence, South Carolina, where they have built, the city built a commercial kitchen. So the local folks could go in and cook in that kitchen. It houses their farmer's market, and they have festivals, stage. So something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that in other
The commercial
places.
kitchen, the lighting, the deconstruction, you'd be able to get incentives for something like that as well.
Good to know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Good, thank you. Appreciate that information. That was very
Great
helpful for us to
information.
understand where we're going to go in the future with these. The next is Concert for Cause, United Methodist Church.
Pastor Ann.
I came to thank you for giving us this opportunity. My name is Ann Bridgers. I'm the pastor at Port Royal United Methodist Church. Back in late summer, I approached Mary Beth Haywood and asked her if there was a possibility, what did she think about possibly having a praise band concert in the town of Port Royal. And she said, I think it's a good idea, but I need to go talk to Van before I give you an answer. And I said, fine. So she called me back, I think it was a week later, and she said, Ann, it's a go. So I came to say thank you to you, the town of Port Royal, for helping us. I brought the brochure. It's called Concert for Cause. There will be 4 churches involved. There are 4 charities that will be sponsored. There are 5 local praise bands participating. One is south of Broad River that is coming to join us here in Live Oak Park, which will be Saturday, March the 19th. So that's a week from this Saturday. We are looking forward to having a large crowd. We have got people who have worked diligently for this cause. And I wanted to personally thank Mary Beth for helping us get this kicked off.
Thank you.
For Brooke, thank you for diligently working with Tammy, our church secretary, and helping to coordinate everything. Captain Massey of the police department. And I know all of you know Miss Ruthie Coates. She is our queen of Port Royal, 101 years old.
Yes.
And you must come out and see her, as our band from our church will be performing at 5 o'clock. And Miss Ruthie is going to join the band and sing with them at that time.
Wow.
And we are so thrilled to have her. And when I talked to her the other day, I said, Miss Ruthie, you know that you are the queen of Port Royal. So we have got to showcase you. And she has just giggled about it and very excited about being a part of it.
Good.
Yes.
Got the wash tub.
And she had been a member of the kazoo band years ago, and she plays a wash tub. You have got to come see this. And she has agreed to have her wash tub there and sing and play with the band.
Well, I hate all
Where
the miss-
else can you find a 101-year-old lady standing and singing with a praise band? So I invite you all to come and be a part of this. This will be the first in the town of Port Royal, but we are hoping that this will turn out to be a yearly event for this area. And I just wanted to say thank you all for helping us and for sponsoring this and allowing us to do this.
Well, you have some good groups
Thank
there.
you.
Welcome.
Some excellent groups there. I recognize a
Could
few
you,
of them.
could you
so
make
that's
sure we
good.
get invitations
Are
for
there any
this?
questions?
Send out
Anybody?
meeting invitations to this?
No, I think this is.
This is great.
Great. I hate I'm gonna be out of town. This is my first cruise in 2 years since the COVID. But I know that everybody in the town will enjoy it, and I think it's definitely for a great cause. And I really want to see this an annual, so.
Also
Well,
local food
that's what
trucks.
we are,
pastors
we are
and-
hoping for, and
See
we're
that?
working for
Food trucks.
different
Medical
charity
facilities.
events to raise donations. And our event is going to be for Hope House, which is the recovery home for men and women in the Beaufort area.
Great.
good.
Thank you so much for
Thank
choosing.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you. That's
much.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next item of business is council briefing. Any updates?
Just a few things. put in your folders something we talked about last week, was formalization of a relationship with a group that will assist us with some grant writing opportunities.
Yes, I'll do
And it also included in your folder an update on every single vote.
Yep.
Where its status is, and where we are in that process. We do have a meeting scheduled for March 16th with the lawyer and Marine down on site with Safe Harbor also. So we'll start looking at reconstruction, if you will,
Okay.
of the dock facility.
The deadline is April 1st. So it's coming up quick, the way, it's coming up quick. And it looks like majority of the boat owners are working with us. There are a few that we have some issues with. Okay.
And then we have formalized that kind of an ongoing meetings, if you will, with Safe Harbor. I think we started the first one in May.
Correct.
So we'll do that routines and participation and figure out where everything goes.
Good. Kevin, you have something?
I was just gonna ask, we might have mentioned it, but the Rebo Road study, is that still kind of on track to wrap up?
Yeah, they're
next
still working on that. There was a kind of a second phase to what they were going to produce based upon all of the input. They gave us, I think, a pretty little bit outline
Yeah.
of what that product is going to be.
That's all, and it says in there that this isn't finished,
Yeah,
so.
and just as kind of an aside, Brooke's been running some reports. Now we have access to that software, which y'all may find interesting, that we'll kind of combine with the outcome of that study as well as the retail program that we're participating in. So you get a really good assessment of what is in our market, what can be in our market, what our leakage is. I mean, everything you can simply imagine related to retail. Some of it's truly scary in terms of, the software being able to draw a circle around a location on a particular day and identify a user and where they came from, how long they were in there, where they went after that. It's fascinating and terrifying. So anyway.
Will there be
Anybody who carries a cell phone, there's people who can tell you where you are.
Will there be a
and where
presentation
you
on
go.
that when it's all done? Okay. Yeah, looking forward to the presentation.
Yeah.
It was a great one that we saw.
Are we going to need any formal action on the developing that agreement with the grant writing group, or that's something you can handle as a
Yeah,
staff level?
it's almost, the research piece of it is at no cost.
Right, I saw that.
Receive the grant.
Okay. Anyway, you can do like some quarterly updates to council on where we are with grants, what they've researched, what we're trying for. I think it would be good that we know what they're doing in that aspect. Okay, that's great. Jerry, I know you're out for the count. Is there any questions you had about the update last week or anything? I want to make sure you got your questions.
I'm good to go, sir.
I appreciate it. Just
Thank
wanted
you.
to make sure about that.
Thank you.
So,
Oh, one other thing, just real quick. We do have Ashley and JC's here. One of the things that I want to bring up, they were kind of here thinking that there would be an approval of their event, but if you recall, at the last meeting, you kind of went, all right, staff, y'all, we'll defer to you in terms of making sure dates are good. I think we're good on the calendar, and so we'll be working with you to confirm that that's all squared away.
good.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
cool.
So we're good, we don't have a petition?
Oh, no, we get you scheduled, set up the meetings, and I think we're good to go.
Looking forward to it.
We want to make the process as easy as possible.
Well, last time you had to do a formal vote and all that stuff, so you got pretty for like their voting.
Girl, let me go ahead and give you my vote.
We were on the agenda, and I was like, I don't know Robert rules enough to know how to fix this.
You're good.
You passed the test last time. so-
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
You made a great event, so we wanted to have you back.
No, you're good.
Thank you.
That's it. All right, we got one council action that you have to present to us.
Yeah, just real quickly, at the retreat, we discussed a number of things, and one of the things y'all were very emphatic about was making sure that Jeff had a new truck. And so the police department, hearing the feedback that we received from y'all and where we are in terms of financially, they reached out and started doing some research, and they found we were able to locate some vehicles, admin vehicle trucks for replacement. Ron, I don't know how many miles your thing had on it, but it was some ungodly amount.
170.
Yeah. So we were able to locate 4 pickup trucks, 3 for police department, 1 for public works for Jeff. And I just wanted to get approval from council for the purchase of those trucks, and if we need to make some budget modifications, we will to accommodate that.
Okay.
So they're all 6 cylinders and 21 models.
Yes.
Is this a state contract pricing?
It's actually below state contract.
Below state contract pricing? That's even better. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Right place, right time.
Very good.
Okay.
Well done.
Good.
Do you have a total?
Total of
40,000 each?
Yeah, so, yeah.
45.
basically $162,000. 3 go to the police department, 121,500, and 1 to.
These are purchase or lease?
Purchase.
Purchase,
So they
okay.
won't have any impact on our barn capacity. And because we're able to take care of it this fiscal year, because of the things we're anticipating doing next fiscal year, it's an opportunity for us to get ahead of that so that we're not dedicating that next year's budget to kind of impact what we are planning to do with capital.
So would a motion to approve purchase of 4 vehicles not exceeding the price of $165 cover what you need to do?
That covers taxes and everything?
Taxes and everything?
Yeah.
So is somebody willing to make that motion?
I move that we approve the procurement for the purchase of the 4 trucks.
Not to
Second.
exceed 160.
Not to exceed
165?
whatever that price is. 65.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not that we have plenty. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jeff will thank the police department. We thank the police department in that aspect. He just never, he doesn't ask, so sometimes we gotta help him.
And the beauty of this also is because they're under warranty, so we don't have to budget right now for any
Nope, nope,
maintenance
nope.
costs and so forth.
So this is good, that's great in that way. Important information and dates. Go ahead. Well, we just had the one. We got one on there. We just talked about it. One on here is 19th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., Port Royal United Methodist Church, Concert for Cause, Live Oak Park.
And just real quickly, I did get the posters today. I can't remember the first date off the top of my head, but we did get all the bookings for street music squared away.
All over Facebook today, so
Yes.
multiple times, we were all sharing it.
6:30 p.m.
6:30.
Spring at 6:30 in the fall at 6.
Okay, 6:30.
Late night.
Time
Can we
changes.
get
Late night.
meetings
There you
on
go.
on all of those dates, please? Could you, meetings on our calendars on all those? And council will share what dates we all can make, so we can do that. If you're there, we'd love to have you on stage to help introduce the band and say welcome to everybody. So we'll figure out how we can all make that work. Council comments before I open it up to the public? Any, Jerry, start on your?
Yeah, okay, so I'd like to have fun, right? I'm a
Right.
fun guy,
Really?
super
Wow.
fun guy. So I need your help, and we're all gonna stand up together, right? And if you haven't noticed, right here,
Okay, I knew we was
today
gonna-
is the 148th birthday of the incorporation of our
I
town.
knew he was gonna do it.
So let's join in and say happy birthday to Port Royal. Ready? Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Port Royal. Happy birthday to you.
What's that? Okay, how many people born in Port Royal is here? All right. All right.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy-
That's all I have, sir.
All right.
Darryl, you got anything?
The event this past weekend was very exciting. It was fun.
Charities
It was a
event.
Charity
Steve
event.
for Charities event.
And my reason for bringing that up is because not that I stayed there and ate oysters all day, but had an opportunity to go around and mingle with the crowd. And we had people that came as far as Greenville and further that attended. And I was eating oysters with them, and I said, "How'd you hear about us?" He said, "Those 2 radio stations out there, one of them, we tune into just to listen to the radio, the weather down there, and we heard about it, and so we decided to get in our car and drive from Greenville to Port Royal. Then the folks from Hilton Head and other parts of the state, and not out of the state also, that were here, and that was exciting just to have that type of traffic, and also just putting Port Royal on the map. And it was all good. Everyone talked about the things in Port Royal that's going on, what we're doing in Port Royal, the family atmosphere, and stuff like the street music, and even that charity event and so forth. But just having that footprint and having those people come to Port Royal is great. I was very pleased with that. Yeah,
It was a great event.
a great event.
Great
Yes. And I have something I want to talk to you two about later.
Maribeth, you got anything?
I just echo Daryl and Jerry.
Kevin?
Port Royal's a great place.
No comments.
Mary Beth can eat too, because I ate with her on
We
Friday
did,
night.
on Sunday, if you weren't aware, you might have saw there was groundbreaking for the
Yes,
church.
Cross.
The Cross Community
Church, yes.
Church it's in Port Royal, in the Shell Point area, but it's in Port Royal. It was a very, very well attended. What would you say?
They have over 500 members.
500
and
members?
they had over a few hundred of them out there.
Yeah, there was about
Yeah.
200 to 300 members at the groundbreaking. They did a fabulous job about talking about the foundation. I was very impressed about the way they described the way the foundation of their church. They're currently in the YMCA, and they're building their facility in. And they're very much interested in talking with the town about how their community center could be utilized by the town and by the residents. So it was a great event, and I was glad to be able to attend that.
Even though I broke my shoe heel when I was
That's
there.
it, yes, you broke a heel. Open it up for public comment. I have nothing in front of me, but if anybody would like to speak before us, you're more than welcome to now.
Is that groundbreaking in the Dominion Energy territory? They can take advantage
All
of
of
it?
Port Royal,
All of
all of
Port
Port
Royal,
Royal is
yes.
in the Dominion Energy territory.
We don't have
If you're
nothing
north,
but
if you're north of the Broad, if you're north of the Broad, you're in the Dominion Energy territory. Please come.
Earlier you mentioned John S. Parker Park and potentially bringing in more stuff there so it could be more utilized like Live Oaks Park, which we had talked about previously as well when we did the cleanup. So just if that comes to fruition, let us know how.
Get with John Hazel, we're gonna get with him, it's, part of Parks and Commission is a group we're looking at right now, and that may be one of the things we ask him to take a look at and evaluate that, so.
Whatever we can do to
We
within
appreciate.
our capabilities.
Yep, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
what the J.C.'s have done over there.
Yes.
Thank you, Ash.
Thank you. Hearing nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
So moved. Thank you, everybody.